Welcome to Bedtime Stories on Canvas, a quiet, gentle corner where soft storytelling and the slow rhythm of paint on canvas come together to help you relax, unwind, and slowly drift towards sleep. Here, there is no rush, no noise from the outside world. Just calm words, soft thoughts, and the peaceful motion of a brush moving across a canvas. As you settle in, you might notice the gentle strokes of color appearing on the screen. This is one of my favorite ways to quiet the mind, painting slowly, one section at a time, using a simple paint-by-numbers canvas. For now, just get comfortable. Let your shoulders soften, your breathing slow down, and allow your thoughts to gently drift. Tonight, we are going to explore something a little different, not a single story, but a collection of quiet wonders, the kind that make the universe feel vast, mysterious, and softly unknowable. There are so many things we have learned about the world, so many discoveries, inventions, and explanations. And yet, even with all of that knowledge, there are still questions lingering in the background, waiting patiently for answers that may take years, or even centuries, to understand. So tonight, we step softly into those unknown spaces. We will drift through mysteries that stretch far beyond our world, across distant galaxies, where strange forces shape stars and silence fills the dark. And we will also return closer to home, to the quiet mysteries hidden in our oceans, our skies, and even within our own bodies. These are not problems to solve tonight. There is nothing to figure out, nothing to worry about. Instead, think of them as gentle doorways, little openings into wonder, reminding us that the universe is still full of stories, still unfolding, still being written. And as you listen, you don't need to hold on to every detail. You can simply let the ideas float past you, like soft clouds drifting across a quiet sky. There's no need to stay fully awake for this journey. You can drift in and out, listening to what you catch, and letting the rest gently fade away. If you enjoy these quiet moments, these peaceful explorations, you can always leave a like, or share a thought in the comments, so others can find their way here too. Let's begin. The first thing ever comes to my mind is why? Does anything exist at all? It sounds so simple, almost like a child's question, and yet, no one truly knows the answer. Science can explain how the universe behaves, how stars are born, how galaxies move, and even how everything began with what we call the Big Bang. But the question of why there is something instead of nothing remains softly out of reach. Some scientists believe that even what we call empty space is not really empty at all. Tiny particles appear and disappear like faint sparks in the dark. And maybe, just maybe, the universe itself began in a similar way, a quiet flicker, becoming something from almost nothing. Others imagine that our universe is only one among many others, each with its own rules, its own story, unfolding somewhere far beyond our reach. But even then, a deeper question waits patiently. Why would all of that exist in the first place? There is no instrument, no telescope, that can look into that mystery. And that's okay, you don't need to solve it tonight. You can simply let the thought pass by, like a soft ripple on still water. As the painting continues, notice how each color gently finds its place, without hurry, without effort. In the same quiet way, scientists have tried to trace the story of the universe back to its very beginning. Nearly 14 billion years ago, everything we know was packed into a tiny, hot, glowing point. And then it expanded. Quickly, silently, space itself stretching outward. We call this moment the Big Bang. But what caused it? No one knows. Some believe it may have been a tiny disturbance, a small shift in the fabric of reality that grew into everything we see today. Others imagine that the universe may go through cycles, expanding, then shrinking, again and again, like a slow cosmic breath. And then, there is time itself. If time began with the universe, then asking what came before may not even make sense. It's a strange thought, but a peaceful one too. Time, in our lives, always seems to move forward. One moment becomes the next, memories settle behind us, while the future remains unknown. A glass can fall and shatter, but it never quietly lifts itself back together. Warmth fades into the air, but never gathers itself back again. This gentle flow, in one direction, is what we call the arrow of time. And yet, deep within the laws of physics, there is nothing that truly forces time to move this way. The equations work just as well, forward or backward. Still, our world only moves ahead. Some believe this is because the universe began in a very ordered state, and slowly, over time, things become more mixed, more scattered, more still. But why it began so neatly, so perfectly arranged, remains another quiet mystery. Far out in space, beyond what our eyes can see, there is something else, gently shaping the universe. When astronomers watch galaxies spin, they notice something unusual. The stars move too fast, as if something unseen is holding them together. This invisible presence is what we call dark matter. It cannot be seen, it does not shine, and yet, its gravity quietly holds galaxies in place. It is everywhere, surrounding us, outnumbering the matter we can see. And still, no one knows exactly what it is. Scientists have searched for it, patiently, waiting for even the smallest sign. But so far, it remains hidden, like a shadow that cannot be touched. And then, there is something even more mysterious. An invisible force, slowly stretching the universe itself. At first, scientists thought the expansion of the universe would slow down, pulled inward by gravity. But instead, it is speeding up. Faster and faster, galaxies drifting farther apart, like distant lights fading into the night. This unknown force, we gently call dark energy. It fills most of the universe, and yet, we don't understand it. It may be a quiet energy within empty space, or something even stranger, something we have not yet discovered. And one day, it may shape the final fate of everything. But for now, it simply remains. Another soft mystery, drifting through the cosmos. By now, your eyes may feel a little heavier. As the brush continues its slow, steady movement, there is no need to hold on to these ideas. Let them drift, like distant stars in a quiet sky. You are safe, calm, and slowly, gently, floating towards sleep. If you're still here with me, quietly listening, you might like to gently like the video, or subscribe, so you can return to this calm space whenever you need it. As the painting slowly continues, soft colors blending, filling quiet spaces, let your mind drift a little deeper into the calm. There is another gentle mystery, one that feels almost perfectly balanced. The universe, in many ways, seems just right for life. If gravity were even a little stronger, stars might collapse too quickly, burning out before anything could grow. If it were weaker, galaxies might never come together at all. Even the tiniest changes in the forces that hold atoms together could mean that nothing, not stars, not planets, not even you, would exist. It's as if everything rests on a very fine edge. Some people think maybe it's just chance, a quiet coincidence in a vast and endless reality. Others imagine that there could be many universes, each one slightly different, and we simply happen to be in the one where life is possible. And maybe there is some deeper rule, still hidden from us, that gently shapes everything just the way it is. As you watch the brush move, slowly, steadily, notice how each small detail finds its place. Without needing to understand the whole picture. In the same way, there are questions about the universe that remain just beyond our reach. For example, does the universe go on forever? Or does it, somehow, have an end? We can only see so far, a vast distance, stretching billions of light years. For now, we simply don't know. But beyond that, there is a quiet horizon, a place where light has not yet had time to reach us. And past that horizon, we can only imagine. Perhaps space continues endlessly, with more galaxies, more stars, more quiet worlds drifting in the dark. Or perhaps, if you could travel far enough, you might one day return to where you began, like walking across the surface of a sphere. It's a peaceful thought either way. When we look into space, we are also looking into the past. The light from distant galaxies has traveled for billions of years just to reach us. And beyond that distance, there is a region we will never see. Not because it isn't there, but because it is simply too far away. Beyond that invisible boundary, reality continues, quietly, endlessly. Maybe it looks much the same, stars, galaxies, soft glowing light. There is also a bold idea, one that stretches the imagination even further. The idea that our universe may not be the only one. There could be others, countless, quiet universes, each with their own rules, their own stories unfolding. We might be living in just one small corner of something far greater. But if those other universes exist, they are far beyond our reach. Or maybe it is something entirely different. We may never know. And that's okay. Some mysteries are meant to remain gentle and distant, like stars we can see, but never touch. No signal, no light, can travel between them. So for now, this idea remains a soft possibility, a quiet thought, drifting at the edges of science. Even space and time themselves may not be what they seem. We often imagine them as a stage, a place where everything happens. But in reality, they can bend, stretch, and curve. And deep down, at the smallest scales, they may not even be smooth at all. Some scientists believe that space and time might come from something deeper, something we have not yet discovered. Maybe what we experience as reality is only the surface of something far more subtle underneath. It's a strange idea, but also a calming one. Now, as your body grows a little heavier and your thoughts begin to slow, we drift into one of the strangest parts of all: the tiny world of particles. Here, things don't behave the way we expect. A single particle can exist in more than one place at the same time. Not fully here, not fully there, but somewhere in between, like a soft blur of possibilities. Only when it is observed does it settle into one place. It's not something we see in everyday life, but experiments have shown that this is how the universe behaves at its smallest scale. And no one truly knows why. Even more curious, some particles can become connected in a way that feels almost magical. Two particles, separated by great distances, can still reflect each other perfectly. Change one, and the other responds instantly, as if distance doesn't matter at all. This quiet connection remains one of the deepest mysteries we know. And then, there is the simple act of observing. In this tiny world, just looking at something can change what it does. Particles behave one way when left alone, and another when measured. It's as if the universe gently shifts when we pay attention to it. By now, your eyes may be feeling heavier, your thoughts softer, like distant echoes fading into silence. The brush continues, slow, steady, calm, and all of these mysteries can simply drift away, leaving you in a quiet, peaceful space, ready to rest. Let's move a little deeper now into some of the strangest mysteries the universe quietly holds. Imagine a tiny particle moving through a simple experiment, passing through a narrow opening. When no one is watching, it behaves like a soft wave, spreading out, flowing through more than one path at once. But the moment we try to observe it, to see exactly where it goes, that wave-like behavior disappears. It becomes something definite, choosing a single path. Just by observing it, the outcome changes. It's a very quiet, but very strange idea. Scientists describe this using something called a wave function, a way of saying that the particle holds many possibilities at once until it is observed. But what does it really mean to observe something? Is it a machine, a measurement, or something deeper, like awareness itself? No one knows for sure. Some ideas suggest that every possible outcome still happens, branching into many realities, while others believe the answer lies in how information settles and becomes fixed. For now, this gentle mystery remains just out of reach. Now, far beyond these tiny particles, there is another quiet puzzle, hidden in the vastness of space. Gravity. It is the force that holds everything together, planets, stars, galaxies. And yet, compared to other forces in nature, it is incredibly weak. A small magnet can lift a paperclip against the pull of the entire Earth. It almost feels surprising. Why would such an important force be so gentle? Some scientists think perhaps gravity spreads into hidden dimensions, places we cannot see, making it appear weaker than it truly is. Others believe there is something deeper, still waiting to be discovered. But for now, we simply don't know. And somehow, this quiet weakness is exactly what allows the universe to exist as it does. As the painting slowly fills in, you might notice how each piece, no matter how small, plays its part in the whole. In the same way, science has two powerful ways of understanding reality. One describes the vast universe, the motion of stars, the bending of space. This is Einstein's view. The other describes the tiny world of particles, strange, uncertain, and full of possibility. Both work beautifully in their own way. But when we try to bring them together, they don't quite fit. The equations begin to break, becoming tangled, filled with infinities. It's as if we are holding two pieces of a puzzle that should connect, but somehow don't. For many years, scientists have searched for a deeper theory, something that gently unites both views. But so far, that answer remains hidden. Now, imagine drifting through space, toward one of the most mysterious objects of all, a black hole. A place where gravity is so strong that nothing can escape, not even light. As something moves closer, it slowly disappears from view, crossing a quiet boundary, called the event horizon. Beyond that point, we cannot see what happens. At the very center, the math suggests everything collapses into a single point, infinitely dense, infinitely small. But infinity often means we are missing something. Some believe there is something else at the core, something not yet understood, a new kind of structure, hidden deep within. But the truth is, we cannot look inside. The heart of a black hole remains completely unknown. By now, your breathing may feel slower, your body more at ease. The brush continues, soft, rhythmic, calm, and all of these mysteries can simply fade into the background, like distant stars, quietly glowing, as you drift closer and closer to sleep. If you're enjoying this peaceful moment, a soft like or subscription helps keep these stories going. Some of the deepest mysteries live inside black holes. Once something crosses that silent boundary, it is hidden forever from our view. At the very center, there may be something called a singularity, a place where everything becomes impossible to describe. Density without limit, space and time folding in on themselves, but often, when our equations speak of infinity, it simply means we do not yet understand. Perhaps there is something else there, something gentler, more complete, waiting for a deeper theory to reveal it. For now, it remains beyond our reach. And there is another quiet question that lingers inside these dark regions. When something falls into a black hole, does its information disappear forever? In physics, information is not supposed to be lost. Every detail, every tiny piece, should remain in some form. But black holes seem to hide it completely. Some scientists believe that over a very long time, black holes slowly fade away, releasing a faint kind of energy. If that is true, then perhaps the hidden information escapes in ways we do not yet understand. Others think it may be stored along the edge, on the very surface of the black hole itself. But no one knows for certain. It is a quiet puzzle, one that touches the very foundations of reality. Take a slow breath in, and gently let it go. You are safe, calm, and drifting. There is even a soft idea that black holes might not only be endings, but beginnings too. Some theories suggest they could be connected to other regions of space, like hidden tunnels far beyond our sight. Perhaps they lead somewhere else, another place, another time, or even another universe entirely. We cannot test this, we cannot see inside, so for now, it remains a quiet possibility, resting in the imagination. Long before stars filled the sky, the universe was dark and simple. Only soft clouds of gas, drifting slowly, in silence. And then, at some point, the very first stars were born. They must have been enormous, burning bright, but only for a short time. These first lights changed everything, spreading new elements, preparing the way for galaxies, and eventually, for life. But we have never seen them. They lived and vanished long before we could observe them. So their true beginning remains another quiet mystery. As the painting continues to take shape, you may notice how something beautiful can slowly emerge without needing to rush. In the same way, the universe formed structures that we are still trying to understand. At the center of most galaxies, there are enormous black holes, millions, even billions of times more massive than our Sun. And strangely, some of them appeared very early in the universe. Too early. According to what we know, they should not have had enough time to grow so large. And yet, there they are. Silent, massive, and unexplained. When we look up at the night sky, we often imagine galaxies as beautiful spirals. Arms of stars gently curving outward. Our own home, the Milky Way, is one of them. But why do so many galaxies take on this shape? Some believe it's like a soft wave moving through the stars, gathering them into patterns. Others think it may come from gentle gravitational interactions, galaxies influencing each other over time. But the full answer is still not clear. Even something so familiar remains a mystery. Every now and then, the universe sends out a sudden signal. A quick, powerful burst, lasting only a moment. These flashes travel across vast distances, reaching us from far beyond our galaxy. We can detect them, measure them, but we still don't know exactly what causes them. They arrive like brief whispers in the dark, and then they are gone. There are also stars that spin with incredible precision. They send out steady pulses, like a quiet cosmic heartbeat. So regular that they almost feel mechanical. And yet, they are natural, formed from the remains of massive stars. Sometimes, they suddenly change their rhythm, just a little, in ways we cannot fully explain. Even in their precision, they hold secrets. And then, there are magnetars. Strange, powerful objects, with magnetic fields so strong, they can twist and snap, releasing sudden bursts of energy. For a brief moment, they can shine brighter than almost anything else. And still, we don't fully understand how they behave. By now, your body may feel heavier, your mind quieter. The brush continues, soft, slow, rhythmic. All of these mysteries can gently fade away, like distant lights, softening into the night as you drift deeper and deeper into rest. You may feel your thoughts becoming lighter now, like they are gently floating, without needing to hold on. Just listen and rest. Some of the most powerful objects in the universe send out sudden bursts of energy, bright flashes of X-rays and gamma rays. These come from rare stars, called magnetars. Their magnetic fields are unbelievably strong, twisting, stretching, building pressure, until something suddenly gives. It might be a kind of starquake, a small shift in their surface, or perhaps a sudden snap in their magnetic field, releasing energy all at once, like a stretched band letting go. We are not completely sure. And sometimes, these same objects may be connected to those brief radio signals we spoke of earlier. But the full picture is still missing. All the time, tiny particles from space are arriving here on Earth. They travel incredibly fast, almost at the speed of light. These are called cosmic rays. Many come from the sun or from exploding stars, but some are far more powerful, carrying energies we can hardly imagine. So powerful that we don't fully understand what could create them. Some may come from distant galaxies, or from enormous black holes, quietly accelerating them across space. But by the time they reach us, their paths are bent and scattered, their origins hidden. They arrive without a clear story. Far across the universe, there are also places where almost nothing exists. Vast, open regions with very few galaxies, stretching for unimaginable distances. These are cosmic voids. The universe is not evenly filled. Instead, it forms a kind of web with clusters and long threads of galaxies, leaving behind these quiet, empty spaces. We think gravity may have pulled matter together, leaving gaps behind, but some of these voids are larger than expected. And so, their true origin remains uncertain. They are among the loneliest places imaginable. Now, as your breathing becomes slower and your body more relaxed, let's drift toward a very gentle question. How will the universe end? Will it continue expanding, slowly cooling, until all stars fade and only darkness remains? Or could everything, one day, be drawn back together in a quiet collapse? There is even a possibility that the expansion could grow stronger, pulling everything apart piece by piece until nothing remains connected. We don't yet know which path is true. The future, like so many things, is still unwritten. Long ago, in the very first moments, the universe may have expanded faster than anything we can imagine. A sudden, rapid stretching of space itself. This is called inflation. It helps explain why the universe appears so smooth, so evenly spread. But what caused it? What started that brief, powerful expansion? Some believe it came from a temporary form of energy that quickly faded away. Others think it may be connected to the deepest structure of reality. But the true cause remains hidden. And now, we come closer to home, to a quiet mystery that lives within our own world. How did life begin? Long ago, before plants, before animals, before anything we recognize, the Earth was simple. Just oceans, rock, and basic chemicals. And somehow, those simple ingredients came together to form something living. Something that could grow, change, and slowly evolve. Some believe it began with tiny molecules learning to copy themselves. Others imagine warm ocean vents rich with energy, helping life take its first steps. And there is even the idea that some of life's building blocks may have come from space itself. But no one knows for certain. That quiet moment, when chemistry became life, is still hidden deep in the past. Even where life began remains a mystery. Was it in the oceans, beneath the waves, in warm, mineral-rich water? Or perhaps on land, in small pools, where sunlight and air could mix? Both are possible. Both are peaceful to imagine. And the truth still waits to be discovered. By now, your eyes may feel heavy, your body calm, your thoughts slow and quiet. The brush continues, soft, gentle, unhurried. And all of these mysteries can slowly fade, like distant stars, disappearing into the night as you drift deeper and deeper into rest. When we think about the beginning of life, it's easy to imagine the vast oceans covering the early Earth. Deep below the surface, there are places where warm water rises, rich with minerals, full of energy. These are called hydrothermal vents. Many believe life may have begun there, in small natural pockets, where simple molecules gathered and slowly began to organize. But there is another quiet possibility. Perhaps life started not deep in the ocean, but in small, shallow pools on land. Places where water would come and go, drying and filling again, allowing molecules to become more concentrated, helping them combine in new ways. Even sunlight, soft and powerful, may have played a role. Both ideas feel possible, both peaceful to imagine, and yet, we still don't know which one is true. Take a slow breath in and gently let it out. At some point, something even more remarkable happened. Simple chemistry became something organized. The very first cell. A tiny boundary formed, separating inside from outside, creating a space where life could begin. Some think this may have started with simple bubbles, formed naturally, trapping useful molecules inside. Over time, those small systems may have grown, becoming more stable, more complex, until eventually they could sustain themselves. But how that final step happened, how lifeless chemistry became a living cell, remains unknown. All life today shares something in common. A quiet, elegant structure called DNA. It carries the instructions for everything living. Its shape, a gentle double spiral, is the same in every organism. But why this shape? Why this molecule and not something else? There may have been many possibilities, many paths, and yet, this is the one life followed. Was it the best solution? Or simply the one that worked? We don't know. There are also strange things that exist on the edge of life. Viruses. They cannot live on their own, yet they are not completely lifeless. They change, evolve, and quietly influence the world around them. Where did they come from? Were they once living things that became simpler over time? Or pieces of life that broke away and found their own path? Perhaps they have many different origins. Their story remains uncertain. In the early Earth, countless molecules existed, simple, complex, forming, breaking, changing. And somehow only a few cross the boundary into life. Why those and not others? Was it inevitable, a natural outcome, given enough time? Or was it rare? A quiet accident that happened only once? We still don't know. And that leads to a question as old as the stars themselves. Are we alone? The universe is vast, filled with countless stars and planets beyond number. We have found many worlds, some that may hold water, some that may feel almost familiar. And yet, we have not found life beyond Earth. Not a signal, not a microbe, not even a trace. It may be out there, quiet, hidden, waiting to be discovered. Or perhaps it is rare, and we are something special in a very large universe. For now, the silence remains. Even life itself may not always look like what we know. Here, it is built from carbon, from water, from DNA. But elsewhere, it could be very different. Maybe based on other elements, other forms of chemistry, things we have not yet imagined. The universe may hold forms of life stranger than anything we expect. And even when a planet seems perfect, not all of them can support life. It takes the right balance, the right conditions, held steady over time. We are still learning how rare or common such worlds might be. Each discovery brings us a little closer, but the full answer is still waiting. Now, gently, bring your awareness inward. Every thought, every feeling, every quiet moment comes from your mind, from your brain. We can study it, measure it, watch its activity, but one question remains: why does it feel like something to be you? Why is there an inner experience, a sense of being, of awareness? We can see the signals, but not the feeling itself. It is the most familiar thing, and yet the hardest to explain. And as night falls, another quiet mystery begins: dreams. Soft, shifting worlds that rise as you sleep. Sometimes familiar, sometimes strange, they come and go like gentle waves. Some believe they help us process memories or emotions. Others think they are simply the mind wandering freely, but no one knows for certain. By now, your body may feel heavy, your breath slow and calm. The brush continues, soft, rhythmic, unhurried, and all of these thoughts, these questions, these quiet mysteries, can simply drift away, like fading stars in a peaceful night sky. As you gently, slowly drift into sleep, time in the world around us moves at a steady pace. Seconds pass, one after another, without change. But inside the mind, time feels different. Sometimes it stretches, a single moment feeling long and full. And other times it slips away, as if hours were only minutes. Why does this happen? Some believe the brain measures time by how much it experiences, how many small details it notices. Moments filled with newness feel longer, while familiar routines pass quietly and quickly. But this is only a gentle idea. The truth is, our sense of time remains a mystery. Now, think of your memories. Every moment of your life somehow stored within you. Voices, places, feelings held quietly in the mind. And yet, We don't fully understand how they are kept or how they return. They are not stored like simple files, but as patterns spread across the brain. Sometimes they change each time we remember them. Sometimes they fade or even become something new. And sometimes a single smell or sound can bring them back clear and vivid. It's a soft, beautiful mystery how the past lives within us. Emotions too move quietly through us. Joy, fear, sadness, peace, they shape our choices, color our days. We can feel them in the body, in a racing heart, in a deep breath, in a quiet stillness, but where they truly begin is not fully known. Are they built deep within us, or shaped by our experiences? Perhaps they are a little of both. Now, as your thoughts begin to slow, consider something gentle. Creativity. That sudden spark, an idea that appears almost from nowhere. A painter with a blank canvas, a writer with an empty page, waiting, and then, suddenly, something comes. Clear, alive, unexpected. Where does it come from? Some say it rises quietly from the deeper mind, working in the background while we rest or drift, but the moment it appears still feels like magic. Sometimes the mind plays small tricks. You step into a place and it feels familiar, even though you've never been there. A moment repeats, just for a second. This is déjà vu. A strange, gentle echo of something that may never have happened. We think it may be a small delay or a mix-up in how the brain processes things, but no one knows for sure. There is also something quietly powerful, the ability of belief to heal. Sometimes a simple pill with no real medicine can still ease pain just because we believe it will. The mind gently influencing the body in ways we don't fully understand. It's a reminder that we are more connected than we often realize. And now we come to something you are already drifting toward: sleep. Every night we let go of awareness and enter a softer world. But why do we need sleep? We know it helps restore the body and calm the mind, but its full purpose remains unclear. And yet, without it, we cannot function. It is essential and still a mystery. Time passes, and all living things slowly change. We call this aging. Cells grow older, the body shifts, life moves forward. But why it happens in the way it does is not fully understood. Some believe it is written into our cells, others think it is the slow effect of time and damage, and yet some creatures age very slowly, almost not at all. Which makes the question even more gentle and more mysterious. Even the limits of life are not certain. How long can a human live? We have seen people reach great ages, over 100 years. But beyond that, the answer becomes unclear. There may be a limit, or perhaps only increasing chance, guiding the end. We are still learning, still exploring, still wondering. By now, your body may feel deeply relaxed, your breath soft and steady. The painting is nearly complete, each color resting quietly in place. And all of these thoughts, these questions, these quiet mysteries, can gently fade away, like the last light of a distant star, as you drift peacefully into sleep. As the brush gentle passes, soft colors settling into place, you may feel a deep sense of calm now, like everything is slowing, softening, becoming still. Just let the words drift, you don't need to hold on to them. We often wonder how long a human life could truly be. Could we one day live 150 years, or even more? There are hints, small clues, but no clear answer. The limit, if there is one, remains quietly hidden, waiting to be discovered. In nature, there are creatures that can do something remarkable. If a salamander loses a limb, it simply grows it back. A starfish can rebuild itself, piece by piece. Even small fragments can become whole again. And yet, humans cannot do this. We share many of the same genes, but for reasons we don't understand, our bodies do not use them in the same way. If we could unlock this ability, so much could change. But for now, it remains a quiet wonder, belonging only to a few. Some creatures live far longer than we would expect. There are animals moving slowly through cold waters for centuries, others, small and hidden, living far beyond their size. Each one holding a different secret to long life. We have found small clues, but no single answer. It's as if nature has written many different ways to resist time. There are even creatures that can survive being frozen, their bodies still, silent, for long stretches of time. And then, with warmth, they return as if nothing happened. They protect themselves in ways we don't fully understand. And for us, this remains a distant possibility, something we can only study and quietly admire. Deep in the oceans, giant creatures glide through the cold, living for hundreds of years, with surprisingly little illness. How they do this remains uncertain. Their bodies seem to hold ways of protecting themselves that we have not yet discovered. And somewhere within that mystery, there may be answers still waiting. High above, birds travel across vast distances, finding their way with quiet precision. Even without clear signs, they stay on course. It's as if they can sense something we cannot see. An invisible guide written into the world itself. And even more delicate, but no less amazing, are butterflies making long journeys across generations. Somehow, they know where to go, even if they have never been there before. A memory without memory. A path without a map. Across the natural world, many creatures travel great distances, returning to the same place again and again. Fish, birds, turtles, guided by senses we only partly understand. It's a quiet rhythm of life. Ancient, steady, and still mysterious. Even simple birds can find their way home from far away. No map, no guide, just an inner sense we cannot fully explain. The world, for them, is filled with signals we cannot see. And then, there is something even closer to us, language. The ability to speak, to share thoughts, to tell stories. It feels so natural, and yet, we don't know exactly how it began. At some point, simple sounds became something more, words, meaning, connection. But that first moment, when humans truly began to speak, is lost in time. And finally, something simple and familiar, laughter. A sound shared across all people, in every place. It comes so easily, sometimes without reason. It connects us, lightens us, brings warmth into quiet moments. But why we laugh, how it began, remains unclear. It may have started as a signal of safety or play. But now, it is something more. A gentle reminder of joy, connection, and being human. By now, your body is fully relaxed, your breath slow and steady, the painting is still in progress. And all of these thoughts, these wonders, these soft mysteries, can fade away like the last light of a quiet evening sky as you drift peacefully into sleep. If this story is keeping you company tonight, you can show your support with a gentle like and subscribe to stay connected to more quiet journeys like this. Music moves us in ways we can't explain. A simple melody can stir deep emotion, bring tears, or quiet comfort. It exists in every culture, yet has no clear survival purpose. Some believe it helped early humans bond, others think it grew from language, or from rhythm in nature itself. But none of this fully explains its power. Music can awaken memories long forgotten, steady a racing heart, or lift the spirit without a single word. Why sound alone can reach so deeply into us remains a mystery. Love shapes our lives, yet its true nature is still beyond explanation. Science can measure the chemicals. Dopamine, oxytocin, the signals of bonding and reward. But those measurements fall short. They don't explain why love feels the way it does, why it arrives suddenly, or why it sometimes lasts and sometimes fades. Love is more than biology. It is memory, connection, meaning, and something we still cannot fully understand. Humans cry tears of emotion, and no one knows exactly why. Tears can come from sorrow, from joy, even from laughter. Some say they signal vulnerability, or help us connect with others. But no single explanation fits them all. They reveal what words cannot, carrying feeling into the visible world. And yet, their true purpose remains unknown. Across the world, stories repeat themselves. Floods, sky gods, tricksters, journeys into the underworld. Cultures separated by oceans still tell strangely similar tales. Perhaps these stories rise from shared human fears, or from patterns deep within the mind. Or perhaps they traveled farther than we realize. But why the same themes echo again and again remains a mystery. Humans help strangers, even when there is nothing to gain. We share, protect, and sometimes sacrifice for people we may never meet. Evolution offers partial answers, but not complete ones. Because often, we help without expectation. Something within us leans toward cooperation, and we don't fully know why. Civilizations rise and fall. Great cities flourish, then fade into silence. History shows patterns, but no single cause. Climate, war, resources, all play a role. Yet collapse can come suddenly, unexpectedly. Why societies follow this arc remains an open question. Curiosity drives us forward. It makes us ask questions. seek answers, look beyond what we know. But where does it come from? It goes far beyond survival. We study distant galaxies, ancient history, ideas with no practical use. Something in us wants to understand. And yet, the source of that desire remains unknown. Stories exist everywhere. Across time, across cultures, we tell them, listen to them, return to them again and again. They teach, comfort, and inspire. But why we need them so deeply is still unclear. Stories feel essential to being human, yet their true purpose remains a mystery. Sometimes lightning doesn't flash. It lingers. Glowing spheres floating silently, appearing where no light should be. This is called ball lightning. Rare, unpredictable, and still unexplained. It behaves like both matter and light, drifting, glowing, then vanishing. Even now, we don't know what it truly is. And during earthquakes, the sky can glow. Flashes of light, strange colors, appearing before or during the shaking. They have been seen for centuries, and even recorded. But their cause remains uncertain. Perhaps the Earth itself releases energy, lighting the air in ways we don't yet understand. Or perhaps something deeper is at work. For now, they remain one more mystery, hidden within the restless ground beneath us. Now, as the brush continues to move slowly across the canvas, filling in soft shapes, one quiet section at a time, let your thoughts drift gently with me. Sometimes, lights appear in the sky before an earthquake. Faint, glowing, almost otherworldly. Some wonder if they could be warnings. But they are rare, unpredictable, and still unexplained. They flicker briefly, then vanish, leaving behind more questions than answers. Volcanoes can sleep for centuries, then awaken with unimaginable force. We understand the pressure, the rising magma, the trapped gases, but not the exact moment when silence becomes eruption. Some of the largest eruptions in history have reshaped the planet, and yet, we still cannot fully predict them. Earth itself is constantly moving. Continents drift, oceans open, mountains rise, all because of plate tectonics. But why this process began only on Earth remains unknown. Other planets remain still, while ours shifts and breathes. Water covers this world, yet its origin is uncertain. Did it arrive from space, carried by comets and asteroids, or did it rise from deep within the Earth itself? Perhaps both. But no one knows for sure. Every ocean, every drop, carries that ancient mystery. The moon shows us only one face. The other side, hidden for ages, looks completely different. Rough, uneven, almost unfamiliar. Why one half is smooth and the other scarred is still not fully understood. Deep beneath us, Earth's core is in motion. A hidden ocean of molten metal, creating a magnetic field that protects all life. But how it truly works, why it shifts, why it sometimes reverses, remains uncertain. The planet has known ice ages and sudden extinctions. Whole worlds of life vanishing, then slowly returning in new forms. We see the evidence, but the full causes, the deeper patterns, are still unclear. Far beyond Earth, the mysteries continue. Saturn wears rings that may be far younger than we thought. Uranus spins on its side, for reasons unknown. Venus turns backward, against expectation. Neptune storms unexplained. And Jupiter holds a storm that has raged for centuries. Comets arrive from a distant place, the Oort cloud. A vast region we have never seen directly. A boundary between our system and the unknown beyond. Some moons may hide oceans beneath ice. Europa, Enceladus, Titan. Worlds where water may exist, and perhaps something more. But we have not yet looked deep enough to know. Mars once held rivers. Now dry, silent, its water lost, its past incomplete. Even the language of science holds a mystery. Mathematics describes reality with astonishing precision. Equations imagined in the mind somehow match the universe itself. Why this is so remains unknown. The constants of nature never change. The speed of light, the strength of forces, perfectly set. But why these values and not others? We don't know. At the smallest scales, randomness appears. Particles behave unpredictably, as if chance itself is part of reality. But is it true randomness, or something deeper, still hidden? Time flows, always forward. We live inside it, measure it, feel it. But what time truly is, remains one of the greatest mysteries of all. Matter exists, but its mirror, antimatter, almost vanished. If both had been equal, nothing would remain. And yet, something survived. We don't fully know why. Particles have mass because of an invisible field, yet why that field exists is still unknown. Reality feels smooth, but it may not be. At the deepest level, space and time themselves may be made of tiny, indivisible pieces. Or perhaps not. We simply don't know. The laws of physics guide everything. Precise, elegant, unchanging. But why these laws? Why this universe? Instead of another? No one can say. Science has taken us far. We have explored atoms, walked on the moon, mapped distant galaxies. Yet every answer opens new questions. Some mysteries may be solved, others may remain forever, just beyond our reach. As you rest now, you don't need to solve them. You don't need answers tonight. Let the questions drift, like stars across a quiet sky. Let your breathing slow, your body soften, your thoughts grow still. You are surrounded by mystery. And that is not something to fear, but something gentle, something vast, something calming. Like a quiet universe holding you as you drift slowly into sleep. Good night, and may your dreams be filled with wonder.